Slayers, this show has taken over my existence. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I feel like I could have potentially a lot of new people, so I am Billy Carney. I react to everything through a Buffy the Vampire Slayer lens. I have a bachelor's and master's in film, and this is what I'm using that for. So yeah, this is my first ever video like this. I just am so in love with this show and want so badly to talk about it, and I guess potentially start reacting. It's kind of up in the air, I guess. I would start, I believe, at season 5 unless I just can't take it. Part of me starting randomly, I feel like people aren't gonna like be invested with me personally watching it. So I thought going through each season and reacting to a recap and saying my thoughts and stuff. Truly, I just want to talk about it. Let me know if you'd like me to continue with my reactions on season 5 or 6. Should I just do the last season, 7, and like do these recaps up to season 6? What do you guys think? I know a lot of people that already follow me probably haven't watched the shows, and I urge you to. I have not liked a show this much, and I don't even know. I mean, Queer as Folk that I react to on my channel, I'm truly in love with in the same way. But every time I have this deep connection with the show, I'm like, I never thought this would be possible. And for the fact that this has been on since 2014 and I haven't watched it, it's actually amazing because that just shows me that there are shows. Because this entire year I've started and stopped watching probably like 25 shows. So I'm very picky and it takes a lot for me, and I hate like it about myself that I'm like such a critic, but this epic love story adventure has just been everything to me, giving me like full body reactions. Yeah, I just needed to sit down and like start doing this. I just finished season 4 last night and I'm here. I woke up, I took my dog to the vet, and now I'm here to talk about this because I'm also like working out like what I should do because it has been so beautiful to binge, and I don't know. I don't want this to tarnish it in any type of way, even though I love making reactions so deeply. If it's not connecting with my audience or with you guys, like, I don't know. Everything is up in the air. I'm just going to have fun with this show. Yeah, and eventually, if I do full reactions, my uncut reactions will be available on my Patreon. Also, another thing, my Patreon linked below. I am not into period pieces. Like, this has opened my brain to so many things. Like, I kind of want to try like the Gilded Age, the Tudors. I just saw like the horniest, sexiest show, Spartacus, apparently. Like, I couldn't get into Bridgerton. It didn't hit. I didn't really like, what is that movie? Pride and Prejudice. I gave it like a 2-star in my letterbox. So this has just been quite the shock for me. But anyways, so I'm going to follow Princess Plotline's recap. I hope she doesn't mind in any type of way that I'm doing this. I've been following them just as I watch, just so that I know that I'm fully understanding the show, and I've been loving it. I will link her channel and this video specifically below if you'd like to watch along her recap and then come back and watch this or whatever. Subscribe to her and follow her other shows and such. I will subscribe to her right now, actually. Period. Let's get into this. I'm trying to get everyone I know to watch this, and like they're not. My sister just started and she's not connecting, I don't think, though. I said you have to commit to the first 7 episodes.
Outlander is one of my all-time favorite shows coming.
Same.
So I've decided to rewatch every season and share it with you guys. The show is based on Diana Gabaldon's extraordinary Outlander saga, and today we're diving into.
I would have loved to read the books, but I'm really not like a reader. Oh, that would have been so epic if I did reading vlogs along with the show. But honestly, I don't want to know what happens in the book before the series. Maybe I'll do that at my own time or whatever. I know that the 8th season is the final season, which is a true dagger to the chest because I believe the author Diana is writing and releasing the final book, so I can't believe that they wouldn't stick it out. I also don't know like how far off the book they've gone and stuff like that, or how true it is. I kind of imagine that it's very true to the book, but I have no idea. No spoilers, but like let me know.
Beginning of Jamie and Claire's epic love story, a love that transcends
Epic.
time and distance. This is the recap of Outlander Season 1. It all begins in
Take me
1946.
back.
We meet Claire Beecham and her husband Frank Randall, who have been apart for the last 5 years because of the war. So they've decided to travel to
This alone is so cool how he's a historian and then how it wraps up. I'm gonna try to react to this as like and not mention things that have come up yet. Spoiler free in the spoiler reaction. Just this whole setup I just feel like is incredible. He talks about the history so it's like clear in her mind, you know.
Inverness, Scotland, for what's
I
supposed to be a
also
second honeymoon.
watched
Even
the
though it like
second
strange
honeymoon. Ooh, I didn't catch that actually. Also, I rewatched the first episode with my sister and it was even better the second time, especially like just knowing what was gonna happen and like looking out for things like and stuff.
Even though they feel a bit like strangers now, they're determined to make their marriage work because they still love each other very much. Claire was a combat nurse during the war, very much.
Yeah, I didn't catch that they felt like distant. I didn't realize that they were like apart for that long, or I didn't remember anyways till right now, because I do love how strong their love is in this episode, and you can tell how much they freaking love each other, and that is so major to the rest of the story.
Claire was a combat nurse during the war, and
Love
Frank was in the
this.
intelligence unit, but history is his real passion. As soon as they
Love
arrive in
that.
Scotland, Frank and Claire visit a bunch of old castle ruins, but not just for the views. Claire becomes interested in learning more about botany and local medicinal plants, while Frank is obsessed with researching his family history, particularly his ancestor, Jonathan
Such an
Blackjack Randall,
amazing
an English
setup.
captain who commanded the regiment at Fort Williams during the 18th century. One evening, after spending the whole day talking about history with his friend Reverend Wakefield, Frank heads back to the hotel in the rain and spots this strange guy spying on Claire. When Frank goes over to confront him, the guy just vanishes. That is super weird. Later that
I realized rewatching it with my sister that never gets explained, but in season 4 there's ghosty aspects, so maybe it's just that vibe, but it also seems clear that that is Jamie. Maybe it's not though, I don't know, or maybe in this recap she'll explain that and I missed it, but I believe that that's never brought up again.
night, Frank and Claire go for a walk in the hills because they're hoping to observe a ritual performed
is
by a local group
so
of druids at a circle of
beautiful, this
standing
scene,
stones
and
called Craig
cool.
Na Dún. They both watch in awe as these women dance around the stones
And
with
we
lanterns
also
until
don't
dawn
fully
breaks.
get
After
back
the
to
ritual
that
ends, Frank and
either.
Claire wander around the place. Claire spots an interesting blue flower at the foot of a rock, but doesn't get to check it out because one of the druids comes back, so they have to leave before she discovers them. But Claire
she'll
can't
be
let it
back.
go, so she returns the next day alone. And when she touches one of the stones, bam, she blacks out. When she wakes up,
I also kind of wish that it showed her like disappear or what she like goes through, but as fantasy, time travel is usually sci-fi, but I definitely consider this situation more fantasy, and I love how fantasy light the show is. Like I didn't know where we were going. I didn't know if there was going to be trolls or fairies. Like I low-key, or witches, low-key wish, but I do like how as fantasy as traveling through the stones are, it's very grounded in real life and reality, and that's what makes this feel so real. And it's one of the things that just is so makes the show so good because it doesn't get, I don't want to say silly because I like fantasy stuff like Buffy obviously, but it just makes it even more of a real experience.
totally disoriented, she hears gunshots. Then she sees some soldiers chasing a group of men, and when one of the soldiers spots her, he shoots at her. So she bolts into the woods,
What
running
a
for her life, until she
wild
bumps into a man who
entrance.
looks a lot like her husband, Frank. Except it's not Frank. This guy introduces himself as Jonathan Randall, captain of Her Majesty's 8th Regiment of Dragoons. Yep, he's Frank's ancestor, who lived 200 years
So
ago.
cool.
And we'll soon learn that this guy
And
is
such
pure
a pure evil. It's such a amazing artistic choice to use the same actor. Like it's honestly incredible, but it is sad the way it gives a bad taste in your mouth seeing Frank, because Frank and him are completely different people. You can't compare them at all.
Evil, a sadistic creep capable of anything. Claire tries to run away, but Randall catches her and it's clear he intends to sexually assault her. But suddenly, another man appears out of nowhere and he rescues her. Then he promptly knocks her out with a blow to the head. Talk about out of the frying pan and into the fire. This Highlander takes her to a house where a bunch of other Scots are hanging out, including Jamie Fraser, the hero of this whole story. Jamie's got a dislocated shoulder, and Claire is the only one there with any medical training, so she helps pop it back into place in a scene that's filled with all...
It's so soon to say this, but Jamie is just such a... I'm getting chills right now. Such a simple man. It's just, I could only fucking wish upon a star to meet someone like Jamie. We all deserve a Jamie. He is just perfection to me. He stands behind what he believes. He loves so hard. And he's fucking beautiful.
Of looks and a whole lot of muscles. Then everyone prepares to leave, and with no other option, Claire joins the group. As they ride away, she realizes there are no electric lights in sight where Inverness is supposed to be, and she starts to understand that she's somehow traveled back in time to 1743, a very dangerous period in Scottish history. So they ride all night, and after a run-in with some English soldiers and a brief stop because Jamie fainted and fell off his horse, they finally arrive at Castle Leog, home of the Mackenzie clan. Here's where Claire gets to know all her new friends, and meets a bunch of other people as well. There's Colum Mackenzie, the lord of the castle and Jamie's uncle. He's very suspicious of Claire, but he still offers her a place to stay until she can arrange transport back to Inverness. Letitia, Colum's wife. Dougal Mackenzie, Colum's brother, and war chief of Clan Mackenzie, who's convinced Claire is an English spy. Hamish, Letitia and Colum's son, though it seems like he might actually be Dougal's. Murtaugh Fitzgibbons, the man who rescued Claire from Randall, who also happens to be Jamie's godfather. Galis Duncan, wife of the procurator fiscal and local herbalist, who everyone thinks is a witch. Jamie's friends.
I loved the whole Gallus storyline. It made me wish so bad that like witches are real, and like the cool thing is it's almost like up to your interpretation. In real life, like I do believe in like psychics and like a fifth eye, is that the word? Sixth sense, I mean. So I think of it in this show in that same way. So whether it's real or not, I do think I think there are people that are just in this show in tune with the other side and such.
Bert, Angus, and Willie. Ned Gowan, the clan's lawyer. And Leary, a maid at the castle who's totally obsessed with Jamie. Claire also discovers Jamie's brutal past. He's got scars from being violently whipped twice in 1 week by none other than Black Jack Randall. The first whipping was for escaping Fort Williams, where he was imprisoned for trying to save his sister from being raped. And the second was supposedly for robbery. Claire tries to be as honest as she can with her new friends, only tweaking a few details to protect herself. She gives everyone her maiden name and claims to be a widow, who was on her way to France when Randall attacked her. Claire spends the next few days at Castle Leog getting to know her new surroundings and learning how to combine her modern medical knowledge with the 18th century methods. She even helps Colum manage his Toulouse-Lautrec syndrome, hoping to earn his trust so he'll allow her to go back to Inverness. But her plan backfires. Colum has no intention of letting her go. First of all, because he wants to keep watching her to find out what she's hiding. And secondly, because Clan Mackenzie has no healer, so he wants Claire to fill that position, even if it's against her will. So Claire is forced to become the clan healer, but she's still biding her time to escape. In the meantime, Claire becomes close friends with Galis, and she also spends a lot of time with Jamie. This obviously doesn't sit well with Leary, who's not thrilled that Jamie prefers Claire's company to hers. A local priest called Father Bain also starts to dislike... I don't even know
where to begin with Leary. I guess we're not there yet, so...
Claire, after she saves a child he declared possessed by demons, but who was actually just poisoned by a plant. One evening during a concert in the castle hall,
how, again, realistic and real Claire is about the whole, like, superstition, and it just makes her character so real because she just sees how ridiculous it is, even though there could still be truth to it.
Here's a folktale that sounds very familiar. It's about a person who disappeared when he touched one of the stones at Craig Doon and ended up in a distant land for many years before finding his way back through the same stones. This convinces her that she needs to escape Castle Leog as soon as possible and return to the stones so she can get back to her own time, whatever it takes. So Claire researches possible escape routes and decides to put her plan in motion during a clan meeting at the castle when all the Highlanders are busy swearing their allegiance to Colum. So So she gathers a bag of food and sneaks out to the stables, planning to steal a horse. But she's intercepted by a group of Highlanders with bad intentions. Dougal saves her, but then gets a little too handsy himself, so Claire has to knock him out. This woman can't catch a break. Finally, she runs into Jamie, who convinces her that escaping isn't a great idea because the guards will surely catch her. So Claire stays and continues to care for the sick people in the area. Eventually, she gains Dougal's respect, and he decides to bring her along on his rent-collecting trip. Over the course of the next few days, Claire realizes Dougal is using this trip as an excuse to
We're
raise
on episode 5. So when I was watching this, by this point, even like episode, I would say 4, 5, and 6, I don't want to say I was like getting bored, but I always start shows and don't finish it. Like I remember kind of thinking at this point, okay, like where is this going? What is the storyline almost? Because it was just kind of getting like she was gonna leave and we want to see her leave, and then she doesn't, and it just like brought us back. So I do remember being like, I don't know, I was like not as invested, but I will give you the moment that changed everything, which shouldn't be
money
surprising
for the Jacobite army, a rebel movement that wanted to restore the Catholic House of Stuart to the British throne.
Yeah, like I just wasn't really into
speeches
this.
in favor of the cause, and he even uses Jamie's scars to inspire all the tenants of the Mackenzie lands to donate more money. Claire knows this won't end well because, as Frank told her, the English will crush the Scottish rebels at the Battle of Culloden 3 years from now, wiping out the clans and the Highlander way of life. With this knowledge, Claire does the one thing you're never supposed to do when you time travel. She tries to change history. She warns Ned Gowan that they're going to lose, but of course, he doesn't believe her. When Dougal finds out, he's furious and accuses Claire of sowing doubt among his men because she is an English spy. Just then, a group of redcoats arrives and offers Claire their help, but she refuses, claiming she's a guest of the Mackenzies. The officer doesn't buy it, so he takes her and Dougal to his headquarters, where she meets Brigadier Thomas, head of the redcoats. Claire asks him for help to return to Inverness, and Thomas assigns her a soldier as an escort. But that soldier is none other than Black Jack Randall. Before taking her anywhere, Randall decides to interrogate her, as he's sure she's hiding something. He starts with flattery, moving on to small talk, and when he gets nothing out of her, he threatens to whip her.
I feel like I also have never experienced such a dark character that is Black Jack Randall. It is crazy. The name is so fitting. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Moving on to small talk, and when he gets nothing out of her, he threatens to whip her like he did Jamie. Here we flash back to the second time that Randall flogged Jamie. But first, if you're enjoying this recap, please remember to subscribe. That really helps me a lot.
Guys, go subscribe to her, subscribe to me if you want me to continue this journey and the reactions. It would really mean a lot. Okay, this whipping scene though was also one of the most gnarly things I've ever seen. And like, it just didn't end, and it was so brutal, and I can't believe the way these freaking people just like watch it. I think like someone ends up like throwing up. Like, I don't know how anyone wasn't. Like, he literally gets 100 lashings and like the skin is flapping. It is unbelievable and so sick.
We flash back to the second time that Randall flogged Jamie, just to make an example of him. The scene is brutal. Randall whips him relentlessly, but Jamie doesn't scream at all, which only makes Randall even more furious. Dougal watches the whole thing, and so does Jamie's father, who dies of a heart attack from the shock. After Randall tells her this incredibly disturbing story, Claire's father, who dies of only makes Randall even more furious. Dougal watches the whole thing, and so does Jamie's father, who dies of a heart attack from the shock. After Randall
I don't remember that. I plan to, if like I really truly do this reaction journey, to react to the spin-off, which is a prequel, I believe, of Jamie's parents. I didn't realize that was how he died. I don't remember that at all. I can't wait to watch this show again. So this is cool because it's just like refreshing me and showing me things that I missed. You know what it is? It is so hard. Know everyone's names and the family line, lineage, ancestors, freaking flashing back, forward, backwards, sideways, not sideways, lost reference. Wow, I am floored that I didn't know that. The dad died from watching that? I mean, makes perfect sense, obviously. Jesus. Think his mom died during childbirth? I don't know. Maybe not.
Tells her this incredibly disturbing story. Claire is terrified, but tries to appeal to any humanity he might have left. Randall, however, punches her in the stomach to show her just how dark and irredeemable
That
he
was
is, then
so
orders a
rough.
soldier to kick her. This guy is
This
beyond
is
sadistic.
so
Just when
bad.
things look very bleak for Claire, Dougal shows up to rescue her and takes her
Thank
to St.
God.
Ninian's Spring. The Scots believe that if you drink from its waters, you can't lie, so Dougal makes sure that Claire has a bit to drink before asking her, once again, if she's a spy. Claire answers no, and Dougal finally believes her. But to keep the English from taking her back, Dougal says she has to become Scottish, meaning she needs to marry a Scotsman.
Okay.
And who does he have in mind? Jamie, of course. Claire hesitates.
I have chills.
She's already married. Plus, she doesn't want to force Jamie into marrying an older woman who's not even a virgin. But Jamie doesn't mind at all. In fact, he's kind of relieved she's got some experience because, surprise, surprise, he's still a virgin himself. So they get a ring, a beautiful dress for Claire.
I have chills everywhere. Guys, this is the moment that changes everything. Oh, she looks so beautiful. I have chills. Like, you can never see on the camera. I'm like, yeah, right. Like, I am full-blown chills right now. I love them so much. I have chills. This was the moment where I was like, where is this going? Like, what is the story? And this is what it is. It's an epic romance. That is the core of it. It is Claire and Jamie and their love and their life. And from this point on, I never questioned the show. Actually, like with anything, there's like a bit of lulls. And I wish I brought this up in the beginning because this thing seems to be like everyone's favorite season, which I totally get because it's the beginning, but there's just so much more and such deepness between the two of them that like they can't even touch in this first season because they're just getting to know each other, and it's like stuff like that. Maybe I would understand more in the second watch, but to me so far, from what the research that I did, it seems like everyone's favorite is 1, 2, and 7, which makes me so hype. And the least favorite season is 4, which I guess I agree with, but we'll talk about that. But to me, I think season 3 has been my favorite. Because I think by the end of season 2, I was kind of being like, all right. And then it just outdid itself, and the setup for season 3 and the season 3 end, I just thought it was everything. And the show was just so epic. So
Jamie puts on his family's tartan, and they get married. Claire is now the wife of James Alexander Malcolm Mackenzie Fraser, an incredibly sweet and handsome guy who promises her the protection of his name, his clan, his family, and his body as well. The wedding night arrives, and Jamie and Claire try to get to...
Also, fun fact, Jamie is supposed to be like 22, 3, maybe 4 here, and she's 27.
Know each other a little better before consummating the marriage. Jamie tells Claire about his family, and Claire shares stories about hers. They spend hours talking, laughing, and drinking, and it's clear they're starting to develop real feelings for each other. Claire's still a bit sad, thinking about Frank, but when Jamie starts undressing her and kissing her, any thoughts of Frank are quickly forgotten, and Claire shows Jamie what it means to be a good husband, again and again. After a night full of passion, Claire sneaks down to the tavern for something to eat and runs into Dougal, who comes on to her shamelessly. Of course, Claire shuts that down fast. Meanwhile, back in 1946, Frank is losing his mind trying to figure out what happened to Claire. It's been 6 weeks, and the police have no leads. They even suggest that maybe Claire ran off with another man, possibly the mysterious stranger Frank saw spying on her. Mrs. Graham, Reverend Wakefield's cook, who is also one of the druids who took part in the ritual, possibly the mysterious stranger Frank saw spying on her.
Okay, I guess I didn't pick up on that really the first time either. So that's totally Jamie. I wonder if that's in some way I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is like the Lost effect where not everything gets answered. Don't tell me. Because if that's the case, that would almost insinuate that Jamie goes to the future. And I kind of low-key know/believe he doesn't ever. So I don't know. I think that was just like kind of like an artsy thing to like pull the story in, and that doesn't bother me. Like, I think it's great. As the show kind of gets ghosties, it's making more and more sense, but I feel like it wouldn't really make sense on our first watch until like season 4.
Mrs. Graham, Reverend Wakefield's cook, who is also one of the druids who took part in the ritual Frank and Claire observed, believes that Claire might have traveled through time after touching the stones at Craignadoon.
I thought when she reads, I don't think she covered that in this recap, but when she reads Claire's and does like a tea leaf reading, I thought that was so cool, and that was such a foreshadowing and so cool to see what everything she says makes so much sense.
But of course, Frank thinks that's nonsense.
Of course.
Back in the 18th century, we find out that Jamie is wanted for murder because a redcoat soldier died when he escaped from Fort Williams. There's a bounty on his head, so he has to stay away from his home, Lallybroch, to avoid being captured by the Redcoats. But there's some good news. Jamie's friend Human Row tells him that a witness has surfaced who can prove his innocence. His name is Horrocks, and he's a Redcoat deserter. Jamie and Claire celebrate this potential game changer by making love in the great outdoors, but their fun is interrupted when a couple of Redcoat deserters show up with not so noble intentions towards Claire. Thankfully, Angus taught Claire how to use a knife earlier, so she manages to fend off one attacker while Jamie takes care of the other. After the trauma of that encounter, Jamie leaves Claire with Willie while he goes to meet Horrocks. But while Jamie is away, Claire realizes she's near Craignadoon, the stone circle that might be her way back to the future. Fed up with all the danger and the constant threats, she decides to make a run for it, hoping to get back to her own time. And here's where things get really wild. At that very moment, Frank is also at Craignadoon, hoping to find some clue about Claire's whereabouts.
It's so crazy that we make it to this point where you just kind of want her to get back because of everything she goes through, and then she gets there and you don't want it anymore because of this whole Jamie thing, and it like is so conflicting, and it's what would you do in this moment? Yeah, she makes her choice.
Exact same place, but separated by 200 years, and for a brief moment, it seems like they can almost hear each other through the stones. Just as Claire reaches out to touch the central stone and potentially return to her time, she's grabbed by a group of redcoats. And Frank is left even more heartbroken and confused. A few miles away, Jamie learns from Horrocks that the person who actually killed the redcoat was none other than Black Jack Randall. And speaking of the devil, Randall has Claire in custody and is undoubtedly planning something horrific, but Jamie's already on his way to rescue her, storming into Randall's office like a true hero. Randall tries to shoot Jamie, but his gun jams, giving Jamie the chance to take him down. Jamie and Claire make a daring escape with the help of the other Highlanders, who blow up a couple of things to distract the guards. It's all very heroic, but Jamie is furious with Claire for running away from Willie, and the other Highlanders are mad too since they had to risk their lives to save her. Jamie forgives her pretty quickly, but he still feels he needs to teach her a lesson so she doesn't pull a stunt like that again. Yep, he spanks her with a belt. The next day, Claire is sore and angry, but at least the other Scots forgive her too. When they return to Castle Leon, everyone's happy to see them, except for Leary, who is devastated that Jamie married Claire. So she has no better idea than to try to seduce Jamie, offering him her virginity. But Jamie turns her down. Later,
he like made me a little worried there for a second, but he redeemed himself. Like, didn't he like touch her boobs or something? I'm not quite sure. I don't think so. He doesn't make that choice, but he definitely seemed a little tempted, and I was like, how the fuck could you be tempted? But I got over it.
he apologizes to Claire for the spanking and swears he'll never lay a hand on her again. Claire forgives him, and they make up in a very passionate way. But when they finish, they find an amulet under the bed, which Jamie says is meant to cause harm, pain, or death. They both suspect Leary is behind it. Claire confronts her, and Leary admits she did it because she believes Jamie belongs to her. She also reveals that the amulet was given to her by Galus. Claire, determined to get to the bottom of this, goes to talk to Galus, who claims she didn't know the amulet was for Claire. And since Claire doesn't have many friends in this time period, she decides to forgive her. That's when Claire learns Galus is pregnant with Dougal's baby. Soon after, Dougal's wife mysteriously dies, and then Galus's husband also dies. So Claire starts to suspect that her friend might have poisoned her husband to be with Dougal. But the plan backfires, because Colum forbids Dougal from pursuing a relationship with Galus and exiles him from his lands. Claire rushes to Galus's house to warn her that Colum is very angry, but then some guards show up to arrest Galus for witchcraft, and they arrest Claire too. As they're being dragged away, Claire spots Leary smirking from the sidelines. This is her doing, of course. So Claire and Galus are put on trial for witchcraft, with Leary and Father Bane testifying against them. Ned Gallen does his best to defend them. I never
felt more rage for a character like than her either. The emotions that this has brought out in me is incredible. Dark
but it's
and
no
light.
Use. They're found guilty. Claire is only saved
like
because Galus confesses that it was all her doing.
Lows.
To prove she's possessed, she shows everyone a mark on her arm, which shocks the crowd, but Claire recognizes it immediately. It's a smallpox vaccination scar, meaning Galus is also a time traveler. Galus is dragged off to be burned at the stake while Jamie swoops in to get Claire out of there. Once they're safe in the woods, Claire finally tells—
at that point, you really don't know or imagine it to be possible that anyone else could do this, but then you realize like that makes so much sense that there would be other people
Jamie the truth about everything. How she's from the future, that she's already married, and how she ended up in this time by
I
touching the
loved
stones
when
at
she
Craig
told
Nadu.
him
Jamie,
this.
being the absolute gem that he is, believes her without hesitation. And that's not all. He also takes her back to the stones so she can be reunited with Frank. This must have broken
He
his
is
heart,
just
but he does it anyway,
everything.
leaving her right next to the stones before walking off. Claire stands there for a while, torn between her two
I
worlds.
guess this
In
is
the
what...
end, she makes her choice. She stays with Jamie in the past.
Yeah.
Jamie is thrilled, and he decides it's time to take Claire to Lallybrook, his home, which he hasn't visited in 4 years. There, he introduces her to his sister Jenny and her husband
Okay,
Ethan.
let's talk about Jenny for a sec. I think that she is such an interesting character, and there's like no one like her, and I feel like the actress herself brought a lot to the character. This whole show is beyond well casted. Casting director needs a billion awards. Yeah, I just find Jenny to be really interesting, and I could watch a spin-off of her. I wish there was more Jenny.
Who's Jamie's best friend. We get Jenny's side of the story about her encounter with Randall, how he tried to assault her, but he couldn't perform, so she laughed in his face before he knocked her out cold.
That was
Jamie
so
also
interesting.
shares his plan to get the Duke of Sandringham to
Okay,
help him
so
clear
at
his
that
name.
point, it gives you the first insight that Blackjack Randall is perhaps gay. And right there, I was like, oh my god, I did not expect gayness in this show. And guys, pleased to know there'll be gayness. I mean, it's absolutely horrendous what we're going to get into, but there seems to be some hope in the future of positive gay storylines. And that's just another thing where I'm shocked that it hasn't gotten back to me to have seen this, because I would have never thought that there'd be like gay storylines in this, and this is right in the first season. It's really interesting how dark it is with this gay storyline. But for my audience and such, I think it'd be cool because I believe there's going to be a gay romance coming up, and we'll talk about that more as I get into the seasons and such, these recaps. But I'm really excited, and I feel like season 5 might be a really good time to start. And just in that sense, and for my audience, I suppose, I really hope to find the true Outlanders that feel this show on a crazy level the way that I do as well, even though I'm such a newbie and so late to the party.
By bringing Randall to justice for all the crimes he's committed. We also get a flashback to the time just before Jamie's second flogging, when Randall offered him a deal. If Jamie would give his body to Randall, there'd be no more whipping. This is where we find out that Randall likes men, and he's clearly obsessed with Jamie. Of course, Jamie refused, leading to the brutal whipping we saw earlier. As the days pass, Jamie reconnects with the tenants of his land, who are overjoyed to see him. He takes care of their needs and works on making peace with the demons of his past. One day, a group of men arrives at Lallybrook, mercenaries hired by Jenny to protect the land from the Redcoats and from looting by other clans. Jamie poses as a Fraser cousin to avoid being turned in for the bounty on his head. But he didn't expect Horrocks to be part of the group, who of course, recognizes Jamie at once. But before he can do anything about it, Ian kills him. Excellent way to solve the problem. Since the mercenaries are now one man down and Jamie needs to keep up appearances, he decides to join them on their next job, leaving Claire behind to help Jenny, who's about to give birth. But things take a turn for the worse. Jamie and the gang are ambushed by the English. Claire is determined to rescue her husband, and Jenny, despite just giving birth, grabs a gun and goes with her. They track the English soldiers and find out that Jamie escaped and is likely heading north to avoid bringing trouble back to Lallybrook. But how are they going to find him? Murtaugh comes up with a crazy plan. They'll dress Claire in men's clothes and have her sing in the local taverns. Yes, it sounds bizarre, but the idea is that a singing Sassenach will attract Jamie's attention and he'll come out of hiding. And it works, sort of. Claire becomes famous and draws a lot of attention, but they don't find Jamie
Such
because
a
he's been
random
recaptured by the
storyline.
Redcoats
I
and is
forgot
now
about
locked up in
that.
Wentworth Prison, awaiting execution. Claire asks Dougal for help with Jamie's rescue, and Dougal agrees on the condition that if Jamie dies during the rescue, Claire will marry him, supposedly to protect her in Lallybrook.
And this
but really,
is like
it's because he's always wanted Claire for
himself. Jamie's fucking uncle, right?
himself. Claire also convinces Rupert, Angus, and Willie to join the rescue mission. This guys really need to hurry up because Jamie is going through hell. Randall is furious because he found out Jamie asked the Duke of Sandringham for help to
Oh my
destroy his
God,
reputation.
this is the second to last episode right now.
So he tortures him viciously. Claire infiltrates the
Vicious.
prison and reaches Jamie, but Randall catches her and threatens to kill her. Jamie's out of options, so he offers himself to Randall in exchange for Claire's life. This is exactly what Randall wanted. He's a
So
sadist through and
crazy.
through. He nails Jamie's hand to the table and kisses him, just because he can. Before leaving, Claire curses Randall, telling him the exact year in which he'll die, knowledge she has from Frank's family tree.
Love
Randall,
that.
smug as ever, lets Claire
So
go.
cool.
Well, he throws her onto a pile of corpses, but technically, she's free. Then he goes back to Jamie, and we're subjected to a brutal scene where Randall does does unspeakable things to Jamie, leaving him utterly broken. Of course, Jamie's loved
Bro,
ones put a new
poor
rescue plan
babe.
in motion, and this one involves cows of all things. It's weird, but it works. A stampede of cows crushes Randall, and the Scots manage to get Jamie out of the prison. But Jamie is deeply traumatized and has lost the will to live. Claire never leaves his side, and she tries to talk some sense into him, telling him that she loves him no matter what, and that he can't give up because they belong together. Slowly, Jamie starts to come back to himself, choosing to live, but Scotland is no longer safe for him. So Murtaugh arranges passage on a ship bound for France. And what's the plan in France? First, they need to recover from everything they've been through, but then Jamie and Claire are going to try to change the future by seeking out Charles Stuart and warning him that he's going to lose the Battle of Culloden. At this point, Claire believes that they can achieve anything as long as they're together. And that's not all. As the ship sets sail, Claire drops a final bombshell. She's pregnant. The season ends with Jamie and Claire embracing as they sail toward their future. They're wounded but not defeated, and most importantly, they're together. Hope you enjoyed that trip down memory lane. Outlander really knows how to keep you on the edge of your seat. Please remember to subscribe for more great content.
Clock that. Oh my god, so that was season 1. So good, so beautiful, so dark. You feel every single emotion, and it's just like unlike anything. I remember being like happy about the pregnancy, of course, but I was like also, it felt like too soon, and just in the sense of like, I want to see them two together, like living life before like having a baby. Sorry, I don't know when the mic cut out. Hopefully that just happened. All will be revealed with that. We'll talk about that. I'm like, want to do this like as we go. Yeah, I'm gonna try and get this recap reaction out as soon as possible. See how you guys react to it. If you'd like me to go season by season, please comment below, give it a thumbs up. And this is all to get to a point of me reacting episode by episode. So if you want that, again, please subscribe. Let me know in the comments. Let me know how this season made you feel. Also, spoiler free, of course, but I would love a season ranking from you guys. I'm obsessed with season rankings. I don't know, but I'm so excited to know that season 7 is ranked really high on a lot of people's rankings. All right, I will see you very soon, I hope, with the season 2 Outlander recap reaction. It's Billy Bitch.